Okay, look at footnote 3 on the left-hand column. St. Lucy's feast day, December 13th, okay? St. Lucy's feast day falls on December 13th. Thought to be the shortest day of the year in the old calendar, okay? We are going to read it through. I'm going to go through this whole point. T is the year's midnight. T means it is, right? T is the year's midnight. It is the days. Days what? What is missing here? What is implied? T is, it is the day of midnight. It is the days. What? Noon, maybe. Midnight, the 24th, right? Right? It is the day's midnight, right? Lucy's day, right? Lucy's. So a lot of two commas, three commas, right? T is the year's midnight. It is the days and Lucy's. Okay, I'll just read the whole point. Who scarce 7 hours herself unmasked, the sun's spent. Now his fresque sent forth light squibs, no constant rays. The world's whole sap is sunk. Oops. The gentle balm of the hydroptic earth hath drunk. Wither, as to the bat's feet, life is shrunk. Life is shrunk, dead and interred. Yet all these seem to laugh compared with me, who am their epithet. Study me then, you who shall lovers be, who shall be lovers, yeah? Who shall lovers be the next world, that is, next spring. For I am every dead thing, in whom love wrote new alchemy, for his art did express a quintessence, even from nothingness, from dull privations and lean emptiness. He ruined me, and I'm begot of absence, darkness, death, things that are not. All others from all things draw all that's good. Life, soul, form, spirit, when they have being, right? I, by love's limbeck, am the grave of all that's nothing. Oft a flood have we too wept, and so drowned the whole world, us too. Oft did we grow to be two chaoses when we did show. To be two chaoses when we did show, care to aught not else, and often absences withdrew our souls and made us carcasses. But I'm by her death which word wrongs her, of the first nothing the elixir grown. Were I a man, that I were one, I needs must know. I should prefer, if I were any beast, some end, some mean, yeah, plants, you know, stones, detest. Some okay, all love, and love all some properties invest. If I, an ordinary nothing were, at shadow, the light and body must be here. But I am none, nor will my sun renew you lovers. You lovers, for whose sake the lesser sun at this time to the goat is run, to fetch new lust, give it you, enjoy your summer all. Since she enjoys a long night's festival, let me prepare towards her, and let me call this hour her vigil, and her eve, since both this year's and the days deep midnight is. Okay, there is inversions here, and can you follow? Can you understand? Let's go back. Not so difficult, right? The title is what? Nocturnal upon St. Lucy's Day being the shortest day, right? Nocturnal, what does it mean? Usually it's an adjective of night, about night, or things like that, but it's noun, night song, nocturnal. Nocturnal upon St. Lucy's Day being the shortest day, meaning this poem, right? 'Tis the year's midnight. It is the year's midnight. Well, I'm an expert in Yeats. I know all the poems by Yeats, and I hear an echo here, right? There's a poem called All Souls' Night. All Souls' Night. It's the concluding poem in the a book of essays, A Vision. And there's a poem called All Souls' Night. It begins with this, right? Midnight. It's the year's midnight, and it is the day's midnight. Now you understand? The year's midnight, and it is the day's midnight. So it is the end of the year, right? Understand? Lucy's, St. Lucy's Day. Okay, here. Okay, inner sentence, right? If there is one subject, there is one sentence. If there are two subjects, how many verbs? Two verbs. If there are four subjects, how many verbs? Three verbs, right? If there are four verbs, three subjects and four verbs is wrong, right? Three subjects and two verbs is wrong. Rule 1. If you go to the element style, it's one of the rules, right? Right, very good rule, right? So, who is what? Lucy is who? Lucy is who? Who? Meaning Lucy. This subject, relative pronoun, right? Where is the verb? In this line, which one is verb? Mask. A mask. Mask is a noun. Unmask is noun, right? So, unmask herself. Unmask herself. Unmask herself. For how long? 7 hours. And scarce, meaning scarcely. Scarcely 7 hours. Less than 7 hours. So during the whole day, only 7 hours. So very short day, right? A very long night. Right. So who scares 7 hours? Mask herself. The sun is spent. The sun is spent. The sun sit down. Set. All right. The sun spent, and now his flag sent forth light squibs, no constant rays. What does it mean? His flask. His means what? It's interesting. The sun is what? Personified. The sun is treated as a person. So the sun's, okay, his flasks, right? His flask, his lights, right? The sun spent, now his flask sent forth light squibs. Squibs. What does it mean? What time is it? Morning, evening, at dusk. The sun is setting. So the sun is going beyond the mountain or horizon. So at sunset, you see a lot of lights, brilliant. So the sun spent, and now his flag sent forth light squibs, no constant rays. So this is the description of dusk, right? The world's whole sap is sunk. The world's whole sap, vitality, right, is sunk. Okay, and the general bomb, the hydroptic earth has drunk. The earth has drunk the general bomb all day long, right? Right, trees and absorbed moisture and right, things like that, right? The hydroptic earth, if it rains, the earth is soaked up and then dried up, right? Absorbs water, right? So the earth, the hydroptic earth, has drunk the general bomb, with the earth, as to the basket, life is shrunk, right? Imagine a plant wither, right? Collapse to the feet, right? Basket. Life is shrunk, dead, and interred. Life is shrunk, dead, and interred. Right. This kind of expression is found where? T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. Wasteland. Inter means what? Bury the dead in the ground. Interred, right? Yet all these seem to laugh. All these seem to laugh compared with me. Compared with me, all these is very, really very sad, melancholy. But compared with me, they are happy. What does it mean? I'm the unhappiest man in the world, right? So, compared with me, all these seem to laugh. Okay, me, what kind of person? Who am their epitaph? Epitaph? The letter written on a tombstone. Epitaph. Epitaph. I am their epitaph. Great. No description, no. Great. Don't you feel it's great? It's a great poem. I am their epitaph. Can you write that kind of poem? Right? Can you? You can, right? Why not? Okay. Great, right? All these seem to laugh compared with me, who am their epitaph. How unhappy I am, right? Study me then. So, don't study anything else. Study me, lovers. If you fall in love, if you want to become a lover, look at me, study me, right? Study me then. Who, you, okay, all of you, addressing people, addressing all of you, who shall be lovers? Who shall be lovers? Okay, who shall be lovers? At the next world, not here, at the next world. That is, at the next spring. Yeah, this is winter. When are you, what kind of season are you in? Winter, summer, spring, what season are you in? Are you in winter? You yourself, how about you? You are in winter or spring or summer? I think you are in spring, right? I'm at winter? No, I'm in spring, like you. And you are in summer and I'm in spring. Agree? Maybe you would say I'm in winter, in the middle of winter. Oh no, I guess I'm in the middle of spring and you are in the middle of summer, right? Anyway, so life could be compared with season, right? Spring, summer, autumn, winter. So all of you are in the early spring, right? Good, congratulations. So at the next spring, okay, that is at the next spring. For I am every dead thing. For I am every dead thing. After that, what comes? Rebirth. So winter is not bad. I'm in winter and I'm happy because I will be born again. And I'll be younger than you. Right? So, good, right? Winter is not bad, right? For I am every dead thing in whom love wrought new alchemy. Love worked on new alchemy. Right? Wrought means what? Worked. Is a transitive verb, right? So, in whom love wrought new alchemy. If you love, you will become a different person, right? Do you know that? If you love, some strange chemical is produced in you, right? Then you feel happy, right? So, if you make love throughout your life, you never get old, right? But some of you get old at 50, or some of you get old 40, 35. But don't waste your life, right? Enjoy it to the full. And in whom love wrought new alchemy. For his art did express a quintessence even from nothingness. Express means what? Squeeze. If you squeeze an orange, liquid comes out of it. Squeeze, expression, right? Express. So his art did express a quintessence even from nothingness. What is he talking about? He is talking about ellipsis, the ellipsis of love, right? Out of love comes great thing, right? So a quintessence even from nothingness, from dull privations, right? Dull privations. And lean emptiness. Lean emptiness is a kind of food metaphor. Lean, rich, lean, emptiness. Lean emptiness. He ruined me and I am rebegot. Who is he? He is a pronoun, meaning representing a noun, pronoun. What does it refer to? He. He ruined me. I'm. He refers to what? Maybe love, or nothingness, or love, maybe love, right? Love. He ruined me. I'm. Maybe he must refer to love, because in this poem, abstract thing is personified, right? Sun, he, right? Love, he, right? So here, sometimes when you love, something good happens, but a terrible thing happens, right? You have to depart, right? So he ruined me, and I'm rebegot. I'm born again. Huh? Rebegot. Begot of what? Of absence, darkness, death. Great. I'm begot of absence, darkness, death. Things that are not. Things that do not exist. Pretty impressive, right? Right. All others from all things, all others from all things draw all that's good. This line is impressive, like it's the Shakespearean. Only Shakespeare could say this kind of thing. Shakespeare, or and the other poet, Yeats, William Butler Yeats, John Donne, Shakespeare. Only three people could say this. Oh, there's another person. Maybe me? I don't know. All others from all things draw all that's good. Life, soul, form, spirit. When they what? Have being. When they have being. When they have being. I, by love's limbeck, meaning distiller, the machine that distills spirit. right? Kind of wine, right? So, I, by love Slimback, am the grave of all that's nothing. I am the grave of all that's nothing. In prosodic, right? I am the grave of all that's nothing. Oft, meaning often, oft. A flood is a kind of exaggeration. Have we too wept? We too have wept. We too have wept a flood. A flood. A flood have we too wept. Great, right? Of the flood have we too wept, and so drowned the whole world. Us too. So drowned the whole world. Us too. We too, us too, have drowned the whole world. Right? Because of the whipping. Often did we grow to be two chaoses, you and I, two chaoses, right? When we did show, okay, that interests me. What is coming after this? Care to not else, nothing else, right? We did show the care to show nothing else, and often absences withdrew our souls. Absences withdrew our soul. So we lost in absences. We lost in absences, and maybe made us carcasses. Made the carcasses, just bodies, soul withdrawn, soul departed, right? So, but I am by death, which word belongs by death of the first nothing, the elixir grown, right? I am what? The complement is there. I am. Which one is complement? The elixir. I am the elixir. Grown what? Grown what? Grown out of first nothing. Grown out of the first nothing. Right? Why? By her death. Because of that. Because of that. Right? Because of that. And this means what? The use of, is it colon or semicolon? Is it colon or semicolon? Oh, semicolon, right? So, were I a man, what does it mean? If I were a man, that I were one, if I needs must know. This old expression, I need to know, or I need know, needs must know. I should prefer, okay. I should, if I were any beast, I should prefer some ends, some means, yeah, plants, yeah, stone, detest, okay, test, and love. Some properties in best. Some properties in best, all. If I, an ordinary nothing, if I were an ordinary nothing, if I were ordinary people, or ordinary person, as shadow, like shadow, a light and body must be here. A light and body must be here. What does it mean? I'm very special, and I don't leave any shadow. Right? I'm a very special person, without shadow. Right? So, but I am none. Nor will my sun renew. You lovers, for whose sake the lesser sun is run to the goat at this time. Lesser sun. I'm greater sun. lesser son should go to the goat to get the lust, to fetch new lust, to give it you. Enjoy your summer, all of you enjoy your summer, right? Summer is kind of short. It'll be over, so enjoy it. Since she enjoys a long night festival, let me prepare towards her. Let me prepare towards her. This is very good, right? Prepare for her. Kind of what? Ordinary. Prepares towards her. Great, right? Special meaning, right? Prepare towards her, right? So if you can use prepare towards her, your teacher will delete in 4. You change it for 4, then you can say, oh, it is in John Donne's poetry. And really, think about the meaning. Can you tell the difference, the nuance? And then your teacher will be surprised, right? So, okay. Let me prepare towards her, and let me call this hour her visual and her eve, since. So she refers to what? Saint Lucy's Day, the childish day. Right? The day is very short, but let's enjoy and let's prepare. Let's prepare toward her. Right? Let me prepare towards her, and let me call this hour her visual. Visual? What is it? You sit up late all night to pray for the dead. You go to the 초상집 and stay throughout night to give consolation to your to the bereaved family, right? So it's visual. In Korean, 경냐, right? Visual. And her eve, since this, the verb is here, since this is both the years and the day's deep midnight. So the last line is the repetition of the first line. So it's closer, right? It begins with this concept and then ends with the similar sentence, right? Since this is both the years and the day's deep midnight. Now, do you like it? Right, okay. Now, Frank Kermode actually talks about some very good points. Okay, let's go to the essay, page 135. Actually, I'll skip section 5, 6. Let's see. I'll skip section 7, 8, 2 sections, and then I'll go to section 9. Because this section talks about John Donne's poetry, some of the best poems here, right? Okay, page 144. It was John Donne's habit in later life to speak slightingly of his poetry. So he didn't think highly of his poetry, right? So, and although he considered for a brief moment before his ordination the possibility of publishing his poems, it seems he didn't even possess copies of them. So he wrote poems and hand them out and forget them, right? So there are signs that it was regarded as slightly improper after his ordination for a man of his years and place to be verifying, and indeed Donne wrote little verse as a priest. The elegies on his death often allude to the exercise of his great wit in both secular and religious spheres. wit he did not banish, but transplanted it. But Chaudelet in these lines has in mind not verse but sermons. Okay, I'll skip the point. In fact, it now appears that the bulk of the divine poems belongs to 1607 to 15. These years produced the Corona sequence. Most of the holy sonnets, the Latini upon the Annunciation and Passion, Good Friday, 1613. We're going to read this poem, and probably the Cross. The poem addressed to Tillman, the Lamentations of Jeremy, the lines on Sidney's Psalm, and three great hymns, three sonnets, and Hymn to the Saints, and to Marquis Hamilton, which Donne wrote reluctantly in 1625, make up the extant poetical work of the priest. Most of the religious poetry, therefore, belongs to the period of many of the verse letters and the anniversaries. It is verse of remarkable originality. Satire 3 shows that even in its youth Donne considered language of passionate exploration and rebuke appropriate to religious themes. Even when he's working in strict forms like the sonnets and on devotional topics, we recognize at once that turbulent diction which spontaneously records the pressure of fervent and excited thought. But though he rejected some of the formalities in his secular poetry, Donne was habituated in matters of devotion to certain schematic disciplines. He had been taught to pray, and when his poems are prayers, they are formed by this early training. When he undertook serious meditation of God, he tended to do so by employing these meditative techniques. Here, a learned man committed to the Reformed religion occupies himself with the Baptist devotion, but we should not exaggerate the paradox. Donne's church did not reject what it found good in the tradition, and many devotional practices were retained and some were revived. Donne's Corona sonnets are an ingenious adaptation of an old Dominican system of meditation based on an obsolete type of rosary called the Corona. A Puritan might condemn this, but to Donne it was theologically an indifferent matter and good, and that it concentrated the devotional powers of a man easily distracted from prayer. More remarkable, perhaps, is the fact that some of the holy sonnets and the anniversaries are indebted to meditative techniques defined and propagated by Ignatius Loyola and Jesuits, and yet these were so widely disseminated and apparently so fruitful that it was by no means exceptional for enemies of the order to adopt them. The Corona, with its link to sonnets and carefree, balanced ingenuity, may strike us as a mixed wit. The Ignatian method is more interesting. The purpose of technique is to concentrate all the powers of soul, including essential, in the act of prayer. So a man might present as vividly as possible to himself the sense of the nativity or the crucifixion and his own deathbed. There is no doubt that this technique, the most considerable contribution of Jesuit piety to European art, affects the holy sonnets. Miss Gardner presents 12 of them as a sequence, the first 6 being a formal meditative series on the last thing. The method is to achieve a vivid image, enforce it with appropriate similitude, and then to pray accordingly. So, in "O my black soul, now thou art smooth," Donne imagines his deathbed in the octave and compares the simple soul to an exile afraid to return to his country, or a prisoner afraid to be freed. Then in the sestet, he prays for grace to repent so that death may not at all be like such miseries. The meditation is here forcefully assimilated to the sonnet form, which John uses with virtuosity. And the complexity of the form coexists with that sense of immediate and poignant spiritual effort that tormented natural diction, which was its great and sometimes abused discovery. The sonnets are not reports of spiritual exercises, they are the exercise themselves. There is a little sense of contrivance, artificial, though the form is. Donne reconciles the prescribed form with the true word, just as he reconciles ecclesiastical tradition with the supremacy of Scripture. It is true that the wit of these poems occasionally ventures where we are reluctant to follow, as in "Show me, dear Christ, thy spouse." This last complaint for the division of the church is couched in terms of a traditional image carried to the point where we feel uneasy about taste. For example, "Betray, kind husband, thy spouse to our sight, and let my amorous soul court thy mild dove, who is most true and pleasing to thee then, when she is embraced and open to most men." Perhaps we dislike this metaphor, Christ as Marie complaisant, because the image of church as the bride is no longer absolutely commonplace, but having accepted the image, we are still unwilling to accept its development, even though we see that the main point is the glorious difference of this from a merely human marriage. Something is asked of us that we can no longer easily give. Many of the holy sonnets have their perilous balance. Their wit is always likely to seem indelicate as well as passionate. So, in one of his greatest poems, "Battle my heart, three-person God." "Battle my heart, three-person God, for you as yet but knock, breathe, shine, seek to mend, that I may rise and stand, overthrow me, and bend your force to break, blow, burn, and make me new." Very, very powerful, eh? "I liken usurped town to another do, labor to admit you, but oh, to no end. Reason your viceroy in me should defend, but is captive, and proves weak or untrue. Yet dearly I love you, and would be loved fain. But I am betrothed unto your enemy. Divorce me, untie and break that knot again. Take me to you, imprison me, for I accept your enthralled me. Never shall be free, nor ever chaste, except you ravish me." This is a great poem, certainly, but what we wonder has three-person to do with the passion of the opening. Yet the poem is another of Donne's exercise in the paradox of his religion, and the Trinity is one of the greatest of them. The epitaph, the adjective. The epitaph is obviously, obliquely, justified by the intensity of the rhythmical conflict throughout. In the opposition between the heavy batter and the weak cadential knock, breathe, shine, and stick to man, is the divine absurdity of heaven, troubling to take the sinner by storm, laying him low that he may stand, finally, by the imagery of rape. Love is figured as lust, because it is to be rough and irresistible. God is a monster of mercy, but the Scripture compares him to a thief. The powerful paradoxes of the last couplet suggest an infinite series of such. God as an infant, God as a malefactor, justice as mercy, death as life, and so forth. We respond crudely to this kind of challenge, and such a reading as this is clumsy and over-explicit. Similarly, we are inclined to think of a poem that celebrates the coincidence of Lady Day and Good Friday as a toy, but for Donne it was a motif to reverence, a piece of calendar which the challenged Christian poet to prayer. We are usually content to be clever about the love of women than the love of God. Therefore, the songs and sonnets keep better. But Donne was clever about both, and sometimes in much the same way. Our awkwardness here leads us to Charles' Elegy 9 with the blasphemy, and "Show me, dear Christ," with delicacy. Donne himself was not blind to some of the dangers of his method. In the Latin, he writes, when we are moved to seem religious only to vent wit, to load deliverers. The finest of other pre-ordination poems is Good Friday, before he became a minister. Good Friday, 16 and 13. We are going to read this poem. Here too, dawn starts from a paradox, or this day of all days, he is turned away from the east. This plunges him into that paradoxical series where he moves with some assurance. And this wit binds up the paradoxes with just the neatness and passion of the love poems in fine conclusion. Turn my back to thee, but to receive corrections, till thy mercies be thee leave. Or think me worth thine anger, punish me, burn of my vice and my deformity, restore thine image. So much by thy grace that thou mayst know me, and I'll turn my face. Of the poems written after ordination, only the sonnets of the Westmoreland manuscript and 3 hymns are of the best of done. The little group of sonnets includes the moving poem about the death of his wife and Show me dear Christ. The hymns are just admired. A hymn to Christ at the author's last going into Germany recalls a moment of intense personal feeling and is a companion to the beautiful valediction sermon of 1619. The other 2 belong to the period of Donne's serious illness in 1623, when he also wrote devotions. Thou art a metaphysical God, he says in the work, full of comparison. And although these poems abjure harshness in favor of the solemnity proper to hymns, they nevertheless live by their wit. The hymn to God, my God, in my sickness is founded on a favorite conceit, the poet's map over which the physician pore. For example, as west and east in all flat maps, and I'm one, are one. So death does touch the resurrection. The hymn to God the Father contains the famous play on the poet's name, but so does the inscription on the portrait of the author in his shroud, prefixed to death's duel. What in our time would be only a puerile joke is thrice repeated in the solemn masterpiece. Donne's wit, of course, depends on the assumption that the joke can be a serious matter. Wit, as we understand it, was born of the preaching of the word, whether employed in profane or in religious expression. His fancy, as Walton says, was unmistakably high, equaled only by his great wit. He was by nature highly passionate. It will never be regretted that the 20th century, from whatever motive, restored him to his place among the English poets and wit to his place in history, in poetry. Okay, wonderful essay. Okay, so much for today. Okay.